Good day, my name is Emma Horcha and welcome to another episode of MRed. In this episode we will learn how to use the Extruded Cut tool. If you haven't seen the last episodes of the series, please go ahead and watch them by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen, and that will take you to the SolidWorks 3D modeling playlist. The playlist contains several tutorial videos that will teach you how to use SolidWorks and how to 3D model. Now to get started today, we'll click on the part selection and click on OK because we want to create a extruded part to use the Extruded Cut tool. Once you load into the SolidWorks Design Manager, what you want to do is click on Sketch tab to open up the Sketch tab in the top left hand corner of your screen. Now we want to choose what plane we want to sketch on. Rule of thumb, always use the top plane because that's the easiest to picture in my head, but you can use whatever plane you want to use. We'll be using the top plane today. So click on the top plane and then click on Normal 2 to get a Normal 2 view. Now click on top plane again and then click on Sketch to begin sketching. Now in order to understand the Extruded Cut tool, we'll simply just design a 3D box. So we'll need to draw a rectangle and then we'll need to extrude that rectangle. So let's get our center rectangle tool. So click on the center rectangle tool in the top left hand corner. Now we want to decide what our center point will be. We'll choose the origin point, so let's click on the origin point and then drag out to your desired specifications. Remember, we don't need to be specific because we can use the smart dimensioning tool. Once we place the rectangle down, we'll hold the right click on our mouse and drag up to get the smart dimensioning tool, and now we'll dimension our edges. So let's do this, let's make it simple. We'll do 200 by 200. Let's dimension the other edge. Drag it out, place your dimension, type 200 for 200 millimeters and hit enter. So now we have a square using the rectangle tool of edges 200 millimeters in length and 200 millimeters in height. So now what we will need to do is extrude this sketch. So go ahead and click on the features tab in the top left hand corner of your screen and then click on extrude. So let's extrude this out to 100 millimeters. Actually, let's do this 200 as well. So we have a cube of 200 by 200 by 200. And then click on the tick to apply the changes. So now we have a 3D cube of 200 millimeters in all dimensions. As you can see, you can push in your scroll wheel on your mouse to rotate the view. You could also change the views by holding the right click on your mouse and dragging up, dragging to the right, dragging to the left and dragging down, or you could simply click on the top where it says view orientation. You can choose your view here. So let's go ahead and choose the front view, that's the right view, so this should be the front view here. We could always just click on this here, little arrow down, little arrow to the side of the view orientation, and then you can go ahead and click on the front view. Bit simpler doing it that way sometimes. Okay, so this is our cube. Now what I want to do is I want to cut a shape through this cube just to show what the Extruded Cut tool does. So in order to cut through this cube, we need to decide what face we want to cut. So I'll be cutting on all 4 faces today. I'll cut a different shape in each face. In order to get started, we need to decide what face we want to draw on first, and the face we draw on will be the face we'll cut through first. So let's go ahead and choose the face here. Once we've clicked on the face we want to cut through, we just right click and then hit sketch. So now we can sketch on that face and we can cut through that face of the cube. Normally I would normal 2 that first, so let's just discard that. So normally I would click on the face, then right click and hit normal 2 so that we get a normal 2 view, and then I would right click the face again and then hit sketch. So now we can decide, we can draw what shape we want to cut through the cube. So let's go ahead and start simple. Let's draw a center circle. Let's get our center circle tool and draw a circle. Let's draw a circle through the center of this shape. So we'll find the midpoint line and we'll move across, and then hopefully we'll get the midpoint of the other side, so that gives us the center point of the cube. We'll left click, we'll drag out to any dimension. Let's make it about here. Then we can hold right click, drag up, and we can specify the dimensions of this circle. I want this circle to be yeah, let's make it 150. That looks good. 150, and then hit enter. So this is a circle sketch on the side of on the front face of this cube with 100 millimeters, 150 millimeters in diameter. So once we have this circle, all we need to do is go to the Features tab again on the top left-hand corner, and then click on the Extruded Cut tool. Now we should be able to cut through this this cube. I don't want to cut through all the way through the cube because I want to do a different face on the other side, a different shape on the other side. So I'll cut through halfway. Seeing as we've done a cube with 200 millimeters in width, halfway would be 100. So let's go ahead and type 100 on the left side of your screen. 100, hit enter. Now we're cutting through half of the cube. So let's click on the tick on the top left to apply the changes. And as you can see, we've cut through half the cube with a circle, which was our sketch. So any shape you draw on the faces of the cube, you can cut through the cube. So basically, we sketched a circle, we can cut a circle through the cube, which is what we've done. We could also do a square, triangle, and other shapes as well, which is what we will demonstrate now. So seeing as we've cut that, we'll go ahead and go to the next face. So let's go ahead and click on the face to the right. We can click on normal 2, always want a normal 2 view because it's easier to sketch, and then right click again, and then, or you can left click actually, you can left click or right click, and then click on sketch. Now we can sketch our next shape. Let's make this one more elaborate. So let's go ahead and make a plus sign, right? It doesn't have to be a perfect plus sign. We can just go ahead and sketch 2 rectangles, right? So let's get the center point of this square, of this cube, sorry. So where's the center point? We're gonna have to find the midpoint here. There we go, midpoint, then move across. And then we want the 2 dotted lines. Once we see the 2 dotted lines, that's the middle. That's the center point. Drag out, we want a plus sign, we don't want it too thick, so let's do it there. Okay, now we'll hit escape to cancel that tool. Right click, drag up. Let's dimension this side. So let's make this 100. Alright, let's go 100, hit enter, and then we'll also do the top side. Let's get that out. Let's make this a 5. Actually, let's make it a 10. So in order to change dimensions, you just basically double click on the dimension and you can change your dimension. Let's make it a 10. Okay, and now we want to do another rectangle for the other side of the plus sign. We want to do this in the center of the rectangle, so we'll go zoom in. That's the center of the rectangle, and then we'll do another square, another rectangle. Dimension, get our dimensioning tool out. We'll dimension this as being 100, enter, and then we'll dimension this side as being 10. Enter. So now we have a plus sign. It's not perfect, but it does look like a plus sign. Okay, so now in order to ensure this plus sign is in the center of the cube, what I'll do is I'll press escape to get rid of that tool, and I'll do the relationships. Midpoint, midpoint. Okay, now we've got the midpoint of the rectangle selected, of the plus sign, one of the rectangles of the plus sign, and the midpoint of the cube. So now if we put these horizontal to each other, it will shift our rectangle to the center of the cube. So we'll click horizontal. So that's shifted our plus sign downwards, and it's made it basically perfectly in the center of the cube when it comes to the height of the cube. Now we need to do the width. So what we want to do now is make the other rectangle in line with the width of the cube. So we'll click on the center midpoint of that rectangle, and we'll click on the origin point, and we'll make these vertically in line. So now we basically have a plus sign that's in the center of the cube, and we've made the relationships relevant with respect to the origin point and the midpoint of the height of the cube. So now we have a plus sign that's directly in the center. So now we can go ahead and click to save that sketch. As you can see, it's in the center. So now we can go ahead and go into the features tab in the top left hand corner and click on Extruded Cut. And now we can choose our rectangles. Oops. Yep. There we go. That's basically our plus sign. Let's cut this all the way through. Let's cut this all the way through. So in order to cut it all the way through, we basically just click on where it says blind and click on through all, and that will cut through everything. And then we'll just we'll hit the tick in the top left hand corner, and that will save it. As you can see, we've cut through the entire cube. You can also see the square, the circle cut from earlier on the left hand side. Now if we turn this way, you can also see the plus sign cut. Okay, so now instead of doing the other face, I'll do one on the top to conclude this lesson. So I'll just hold right click, drag up, that gives me the top view. I'll click on the top face and then click on normal 2. We don't need to click on normal 2 because we already have a normal view, so I'll click on sketch. Okay, so what shape should we do? Alright, let's do a smiley face through this. That would be pretty trendy. So let's get the 3-point arc tool. That's the easiest to use, in my opinion. So click on the top left hand corner where the arc tool is, click on the little arrow. That'll pop down the 3 tools, 3 different variants. Click on 3-point arc. So what we do is we specify our first point. So let's make that somewhere around there. Then we specify the second point, and then we drag down to get our smiley face. Now we want to make sure this arc is in the center. So what I'll do is I'll hold Control, and then I'll click on the center point of the arc, which is, there it is, midpoint of the arc, and then I'll click on the origin point, and then I'll click on vertical to make sure they're in line. Now they're in line. Now that arc is in the center of the cube. Now I'll get the line tool out by clicking L, and I'll join these points together to get the smiley, the mouth of the smiley face. Okay, so that's our mouth. Now we want to do the eyes. So I'll hit escape. So we've still got our line tool selected. I'll go to sketch tab, get our rectangles out because we want to do the eyes. Okay. I wonder if it's better to use the corner rectangle for this. So go to the rectangle tool and click on the little arrow. That'll drag down all the variants and click on the corner rectangle. It's probably better to use this. So you specify your first corner and then you specify your second corner. So I want that somewhere around there. So basically now I'll dimension these by getting the smart dimensioning tool. We'll make these 50, so 50, enter. Now we'll do the next one, 50, enter. Now we'll do the width. Oops, clicked on the point. Let's try again. Yep, there we go. We'll make this 10. And then we'll make this other one 10 as well. Now we've got the dimensions set. We need to ensure that these eyes are in the correct locations. So as our mouth is in the center of the cube, I'll center the eyes. So basically I'll dimension them. They're directly in line when it comes to how far they are from the mouth, but I'll go ahead and pull out my smart dimensioning tool and I'll dimension how far they are from the mouth. Let's make that 15. Okay, now we'll do the other eye. Make this 15 as well. So now we've specified the space between the mouth and the eyes. Next, we'll need to specify the space between the eyes, and we'll need to center them with regards to our origin to make sure the faces are perfectly symmetrical. So pull out the smart dimensioning tool, click on the first edge of the left eye, and then click on the first edge of the right eye, and we'll specify the distance between the two as 40. So next we'll need to center our eyes. So we'll click on the origin again, and then we'll click on the left eye, first edge of the left eye, and we'll specify this as 20. So now our eyes are perfectly in line. Just to make sure, we'll click on the origin again, click on the first edge of the right eye, and we have 20 as well. We can't place that because that'll break our relationships. So now we have our smiley face. So now we've got the circle, plus sign, and our smiley face on top. So we'll need to extrude cut this again as well. So click on the features tab and then click on extruded cut. And we'll make this go through our entire cube. So let's do through all again. And then click on the tick to apply the changes. And now we have a smiley face on top of our cube. And now because we've cut through the entire cube, our smiley face is also at the bottom of the cube as well, which is pretty cool. So that's how you use the Extruded Cut tool. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. If you have, please share and like the video. I'll see you in the next video where we learn how to use the fillet tool. Before you go, don't forget to hit Ctrl S and save your progress, because we'll need to use this in future. So let's save this as part 2. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you on the next one. Have a lovely day. Bye.